Hello, and welcome to South Asia Diary with me, Mariam Wardak. Our cover story tonight is from Sri Lanka. After months of protests, the country is making some headway. The parliament has elected a new president, Ranil Wickremesinghe. He is a veteran of Sri Lankan politics and a six-time prime minister, but his election has met with protests. The Sri Lankan people believe the new president will crack down on protesters. On tonight's episode, we decode the changing power equation on the island. Also on the show,
Pakistan reports a cholera outbreak weeks after deadly floods ravaged the provinces of Sindh and Balochistan. Afghan children forced to work in deadly coal mines as the economic crisis drains household incomes. Nepal's tourism department is training women to become tour guides and river rafting experts. Meet Kaleem Ullah Khan, India's mango man who grew more than 300 mango varieties from one single tree.
Ranil Wickremesinghe is a familiar name in Sri Lankan politics. He has served as prime minister 6 times in the past, but in the 2020 election he was defeated. Wickremesinghe has lost his parliamentary seat. Yet 2 years later, he is at the helm of Sri Lankan politics. How will this veteran leader change the island's fortune? What is the public's reaction?
As far as comebacks go, this is it. 2 years back, Ranil Wickremesinghe was lost in Sri Lanka's political wilderness. He lost his own seat in parliament, but today he's back in the corridors of power. Not as a consensus prime minister, but a full-fledged executive president. Wickremesinghe inherited a country in turmoil. His first message to the people was of unity.
No, our divisions are over. We had 48 hours to be divided. We were divided. Now I ask all of you to unite. Let's talk, and I am happy to start those talks with all of you from tomorrow.
Outside the parliament, the mood was somber. Protesters had gathered hoping for revolutionary changes. Instead, they got Wickremesinghe, a man who many say sums up Sri Lanka's problematic establishment. He's a veteran of Lankan politics, a 6-time prime minister, a perennial problem shooter and considered close to the tainted Rajapaksas. Needless to say, the people are not happy.
Pretty much disappointed. We expected much more from the parliamentarians, as the civilians who had been selected them for the parliament. We expected them to acknowledge what the people have been asking.
How he's come to president? Always he's giving troubles to his people, poor people. Everyone in trouble because of this bad guy.
Most of Wickremesinghe's support came from the SLPP, the party of the Rajapaksas. He ended up with 134 out of 225 votes. His nearest rival got 82 votes. But why did the party of the Rajapaksas support Wickremesinghe? Because the new president is tough on protesters. The same protesters who toppled the powerful dynasty.
For those who seek to destroy, to threaten democracy, they must then be dealt with by the law. For the others, I would like to bring everyone together so that a national consensus is formed as to the way forward.
Wickremesinghe did exactly that. Dozens of protesters had gathered outside government buildings in Colombo. They pitched their tents and laid siege. It was largely peaceful. especially compared to the scenes last week. But Wickremesinghe sent his troops in. Almost 1,000 soldiers and cops flooded into the streets of Colombo. The tents were removed by force. The protesters were pushed away. It was a pre-dawn crackdown by the new president.
They came towards us. We were like about 5 people. They came towards us and they dragged my phone and deleted the footage that I was recording. And when my friend tried to sort of protect me and put his arm around me, they grabbed my friend, attacked him, beat him up, and then took him away.
Wickremesinghe was appointed Prime Minister to revive the economy, but he's been appointed President to heal Sri Lanka's wounds. The executive presidency is a symbol of the island's problematic past. Until last month, Wickremesinghe wanted to abolish it. But does Wickremesinghe, the president, still believe that? His grand return has proven his worth as a politician. But can he be a great statesman? Sri Lanka's future depends on that. South Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
Afghanistan's economic crisis is draining household incomes in the country. 82% of Afghans say they are earning less compared to last year. One side effect of this crisis is child labor. Households are being forced to put their children to work. According to polls, there are more than 1 million child laborers in Afghanistan. Many of them work in dangerous coal mines of the north.
"15-year-old Ali Sinha makes his way through the mine tunnel. It is dark, deep, and dusty. He has no training, no protective gear, just a head torch and a pair of gloves. Once inside, the back-breaking work begins. Ali Sinha scoops up the coal with his shovel. He loads them onto baskets atop a donkey. It's time to head out. Donkey in tow, Sinha emerges from the treacherous tunnels. Finally, some sunlight.
When I first came to work in this mine, many thoughts were going through my mind. I was thinking, what if something happens to me? And then people would say that I died while working in the mine. But as time passed, I got used to it, and then it became normal.
But it shouldn't be. At 15, Ali Sinha should be in school. Instead, he is here at the Dara Yusuf coal mines in northern Afghanistan. Sinha's story is a familiar one in the country. He dropped out of school after 6th grade. Today, he works 8 hours a day and earns $165 per month.
I had no other option but to work here. If I could make a living doing something else, I would never have worked here in the coal mine. It is not easy to work here, and not everyone can do it. You must risk your life to be able to work here.
Coal mining in Afghanistan is risky business. There is no protective equipment, no social security net if things go south. And sometimes they do. Last year, a makeshift mine shaft collapsed in Afghanistan. 5 mine workers were buried underneath. Sinha too fears for his safety. He often misses his family, but visiting them is a luxury he cannot afford.
I work for someone else here and can't go home whenever I want. Sometimes I go home every 2 months. If I go home frequently, I will lose my job. So I'm always missing my mom and dad.
Afghanistan is home to 1 million child laborers, a side effect of the Taliban's conquest. Since August last year, household incomes have been falling rapidly. 82% of Afghans say they have lost income. The result? More families are sending their children to work. According to one survey, 18% of them. Ati Beg is one such helpless parent. He works in a coal mine in the Dara Yusuf Mountains. His sons accompany him to work. 16-year-old Ahmad and 12-year-old Qadir. Both boys together make around $178 per month.
I have 11 members to feed in my family, and I didn't have any other option but to get my sons out of school and bring them here to work with me in the mine. Without their help, I cannot do everything on my own. I am getting old, and that is why I have my sons here to help me.
Coal mines are a common workplace for Afghan children. The narrow tunnels require small and nimble bodies. This region, Dara Yusuf, is the hotbed. It is home to more than 500 coal mines. For the Taliban regime, coal is a bright spot amid the gloomy economic situation. Western sanctions have crippled the Afghan economy. Minerals could be the only way out.
Afghanistan's economy is going through a tough time, and the only flicker of hope for this collapsing economy that we can see is our minerals. The legal export of our minerals and their marketing inside our country can stabilize the value of a collapsing currency. And to a certain extent, it will also help the people solve their financial problems.
So the coal mines are here to stay, and by extension, the child laborers. The former regime had outlawed underage workers in all sectors of the economy, but the Taliban are mum on the issue. Their conquest has pushed Afghanistan to the precipice. Their policies have pushed children into labor. In these dark, dingy tunnels of northern Afghanistan, the country's future is wilting away. South Asia Bureau, WION World is One.
Tourism is a mainstay of Nepal's economy. It brings in valuable foreign exchange for the Himalayan country, but the industry is dominated by men. Tour guides, hotel managers, most of the jobs are being monopolized by males. Nepal's government is hoping to change that. The tourism department is organizing special training sessions to employ women as tour guides. Our correspondent in Nepal visited those training camps.
Nepal's government has begun providing skill training to locals in the tourism sector. The industry is facing labor shortages after mass layoffs during the pandemic. Many tour guides and service staff either changed their profession or left the country in search of work. In 2019, Nepal welcomed 1 million tourists. In 2020, they were hoping to double it. Enter the pandemic. Tourist arrivals in 2021 were almost 34.3% less than the previous year. Now, with the pandemic in the rearview mirror, the government has stepped in. Nepal's tourism board has launched the Sustainable Tourism for Livelihood Recovery project. It aims to bring relief, especially to the workers and laborers in the tourism sector. A total of $2 million have been approved for the same. A big focus is the participation of women. Nepalese men are mostly away for extended periods, working overseas as migrant workers or laborers. Plus, there is a pronounced gender imbalance in Nepal's tourism sector. For many years, men have dominated it.
Most of the males used to migrate after they became 18 or whenever they got any opportunity in neighboring countries. So only the women left there. That's why we found that to keep the tourism industry sustained there or to promote there, we need to empower them. So we are giving a number of trainings to them as well.
WION visited the Sindhupalchok district of Nepal. It is prone to natural disasters like landslides, floods and earthquakes. However, it also receives hundreds of tourists for river rafting in the local river. The river is regarded as one of the best whitewater rafting trips in the world. It is the steepest river in Nepal, with continuous rapid action making it a full-on adrenaline rush.
In order to revive the hard-hit tourism sector, Nepal government is also focusing on adventure tourism. Currently, I'm in Sindhupalchok district of Nepal, where rafting attracts thousands of tourists. So far, Nepal government has provided training to over 40 women as a rafting guide.
The government of Nepal is training women in this district, 45 of them for river rafting, 50 as trek guides. The training was organized for the first time for Nepalese women. The idea is to promote self-reliance through tourism. It is helping women build a career for themselves in the tourism sector.
Today I appeared for the license exam for the river rafting guide. A few days ago I took training. The training was very helpful and helped me build my career. I'm an adventure lover, so that really motivated me to take this rafting training. Once I receive my license, I can take my career forward as a rafting guide.
Tourism happens to be an important engine of Nepal's growth. This project has helped in job creation and expansion of tourist destinations. Nepal is focusing on economic development and job creation while promoting sustainable tourism. In the training, workers are instructed to manage a successful bar and hospitality business and recognize the importance of customer service and deliver top quality experiences for the customer.
When the hotels were open after the lockdown period, we faced so many problem with the skilled manpower, as they have all migrated to the Arab countries and other European or other countries. So this training has helped us a lot to get skilled manpower for our hotels.
Hundreds of hotels, resorts and businesses related to tourism have been operating in the Himalayan nation. Hundreds have already been employed after receiving this training.
For majority of the years in Nepal, rafting guides were dominated by men. Many of them are already making career in this field. So far, as per the officials, as many as 11 women have already obtained their license as rafting guides. The government continues to encourage and urge people, the participants, to not only take part in the training but also make a career in this field. Saloni Murarka for WION in Sindhupal Chowk.
India is the largest producer of mangoes in the world. It accounts for almost half of the global output. And within India, one man is called the king of mangoes, Kalim Ullah Khan. He has grown more than 300 varieties of mangoes from one single tree. What's his secret? Let's find out.
Kalim Ullah Khan is set in his ways. He wakes at dawn, prays in silence, then ambles out to his sprawling courtyard. It's time to meet his beloved friend, this 120-year-old mango tree. As he draws closer, Khan's footsteps gather pace. He carefully examines the branches, the glint of pride visible behind his spectacles. What is Khan looking for? Signs of a ripe mango, perhaps even a new type.
Just like two fingerprints cannot be identical, these mangoes have their own uniqueness.
College indeed. This tree has produced 300 mango varieties over the years, each with their own taste, texture and color. Khan names them himself. One of the earliest variety was called Ashwarya, inspired by the Bollywood actress. He also named them after Prime Minister Narendra Modi and cricketer Sachin Tendulkar. Khan's mango tree is 9 meters tall with wide-spreading branches, perfect for the searing summer. Resting in the shade below, Khan recounts his love for the tree. The miracle of science. Khan dropped out of school as a teenager. Around the same time, he conducted his first experiment in grafting. It's a delicate horticultural technique. First, you slice a branch from one variety. You leave the wound open. Onto this wound, you splice and tape a different variety of branch. Hopefully, they get along. Once this new branch becomes sturdy, it bears fruit. A whole new variety of mango. Khan's skills have won him numerous awards, including India's 4th highest civilian award, the Padma Shri. But his favorite mango is not having the best of times. Climate change is threatening the king of fruits.
The government should take account of this. If the conditions don't improve, people will stop growing mango orchards. and people are shifting to other means of livelihood. We wanted our kids to enter agriculture, but they are not interested in it anymore because we don't see a future in it.
India is the largest mango producer in the world. It accounts for nearly half the global output. Most of it is grown here, in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh. Spread across 30,000 hectares, these orchards make up 25% of the national crop. Then came the heat wave. The crippling temperatures wilted India's favorite fruit. Output fell, and so did farming income.
We have faced losses. People who used to earn between $250 to $310 are earning only $125 to $185. When there are not enough mangoes, what will people earn?
Khan also blames the new farming techniques, like intensive farming and fertilizers. He hails from a more traditional school of thought, where science and emotions complemented each other. Mangoes were, and will always be, Khan's first love.
I believe that till I'm alive, every breath of mine will be deeply tied to this farm.
South Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
Pakistan has been ravaged by incessant floods in the last couple of months. They have killed dozens of people across multiple provinces. Now, the floodwater is slowly receding, but a new problem has emerged: diseases. Pakistan has reported a cholera outbreak with thousands of cases and multiple deaths. How does the government plan to tackle this outbreak? Let's find out.
This is what Karachi looks like on a normal day. Bustling, hot, and dry. The searing cauldron is the economic engine of Pakistan, home to 16 million people, minting $164 billion every year. Looks impressive, doesn't it? Well, not when it rains. If it rains, all bets are off. Karachi turns into a semi-Atlantis. The drains overflow within hours. The roads are flooded with knee-high waters. It's a yearly nightmare for the residents.
The situation in Karachi is really bad. We have also seen in the past that authorities are unable to make proper arrangements to pump out the rainwater. It requires proper planning, which is not done beforehand. Every time the roads turn into ponds, underpasses are flooded with water, and several feet water accumulates at main thoroughfares.
For Karachi, the floods were a rude inconvenience. Elsewhere, it was deadly, especially in the province of Baluchistan. 45 people died in the deluge. Crops worth billions of rupees were destroyed. Entire farms and buildings were swept away. Days later, the water has receded, but a new threat has popped up: diseases. 13 districts in Baluchistan have reported a diarrhea outbreak. 2 reported a cholera outbreak.
There's an outbreak of diarrhea in 13 districts of Baluchistan. There are 2 districts with a cholera outbreak. One is Vad, which is confirmed, and the other one, Job, we are still waiting for the results from there. It seems there is a cholera outbreak in Job as well.
Cholera affects the intestines. It spreads through water contaminated by feces of infected individuals. Floods are the perfect breeding ground. The drainage system is overrun, the health facilities are overstretched, and you have hundreds of displaced households living in tightly packed shelters. Outbreaks are always around the corner. In Baluchistan, the Job district seems to be a hotspot. It has reported 2,000 cholera cases so far. 200 of them are in serious condition, and 7 patients have already died.
My older brother has died due to this outbreak of cholera. For the last few months, this outbreak is creating a dangerous situation. Unfortunately, the facilities in our area are not proper, nor are there any facilities in the hospitals. The transportation is poor, and the government is not doing much.
Treating cholera is fairly simple, lots of replacement fluids and salts. After that, it's all about time and patience. The problem is, Pakistan does not have the facilities, especially here in Balochistan. It's the poorest province in the country. This lack of facilities makes the outbreak even deadlier. Almost 85% of Balochistan does not have access to clean drinking water. Coupled with the floods, it's the perfect storm for cholera. The next couple of days will be crucial for the province. South Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
That's all we have for you on this episode of South Asia Diary. We'll be back next week with a brand new lineup of stories. Until then, stay safe. I am Mariam Wardak, and you are watching WION, World is One.